let's go ahead and get started. So I make bath bombs, body butters and stuff like that for an Etsy site that I work with. And when I order my stuff, I tend to order it from Amazon or organizations where I can get just like bigger parts of it. But when I went out to order my citric acid and my baking soda, I thought, okay, I don't want to get anything too big. So I went to Amazon and I priced it up against what it was going to cost me to buy it at Publix, and it was cheaper, of course, on Amazon, so I ordered it. Well, so I now have 12 pounds, let me say that again, of baking soda. So if anybody ever needs baking soda, just let me know. So, first thing we're going to do is we are going to add 2 cups of baking soda. And 1 cup of citric acid. Now what I'm making, this recipe will yield out 24 of a mini muffin, mini brownie silicone mold that I have. So I should show you some of those first. Here's the mold that you see in the picture that I posted before the live show started. And then here's a smaller one that I have for kids. I actually use this for not only bath bombs. I mean, it's great for the grandkids who just want to, that they think it's so cool when they get to take a bath and put something in it and it bubbles for them. But also for baby soaps and that kind of stuff. And then I ordered these. I haven't made any of these yet, but I think these are pretty cool and they're a good size. Going back to these for a second, petty bombs, toilet bombs, bath bombs. So if I'm going to take a bath, I would put 2 of these in my bath. If I'm getting a petty, I have a lady that buys these for her shop, and you just use 1 of these in a petty bowl, for instance. And then I got these. I would say they're the size of say a hockey puck, I guess. They're pretty cool because it'll make that's a pretty good size bath bomb. That's certainly big enough for a bathtub. So the reason I bought these instead of the round ones is because the round ones are more difficult to ship. They tend to break, and I want to use these as Happy Mail. So I'm going to make Happy Mail with these for my downline and send them out. So this is, again, I got this on Amazon, and it's a pretty good size for a full size bath bomb. So those are the 3 different things that we use. And today I'm going to be using this and 1 of these, or 1 or 2 of these, so we can just see how they work. So we have already added, we have a glass bowl. We've added 2 cups of baking soda, 1 cup of citric acid. What the idea is to get the texture of the ingredients to feel more like a wet sand. So if you're at the beach and you pick up sand and you can clump it in your hand and it actually holds its shape, then it's ready to go into the molds. So here's the dish. Here's the ingredients that's in it. We're just going to mix that through so it goes through. And if you don't want to make this many, obviously you don't need to. It's really 1 part citric acid, 2 parts baking soda. So if you just wanted to make a couple of these, Christmas gifts, or you want to make them for yourself, it's 1 part citric acid, 2 parts baking soda, and I would probably put 3 or 4 drops of oil per this size. But everybody who knows me knows I'm a little heavy-handed on the oil, so add your oil to preference. So we mix this. And tonight we're going to do it with lavender. The other thing I have is a bottle of witch hazel and water, and I used about 60% witch hazel, 30% water. I've used 50% witch hazel, 50% water, but nothing less than that. And you're spraying the ingredients because you're trying to create that wet sand. And yes, Jessica, I will send you 1 of those bath bombs. Hope the vacation's going good. You're still on vacation? And you're tuning into me. I'm feeling special with myself. Hey, Aaron. And Aaron, you missed the Dancing Queen. We had ABBA going, but we do have wine. All right, so you're ready to go? Oh, you're in New Jersey. Nice. Nice weather this time of year. As rainy as Florida? Okay, so you can start to see, I'm going to make a mess. It's starting to thicken up, right? See how it's starting to hold the mold, but it hasn't quite held the mold. Oh, and you're in Tennessee. Gosh, everybody's traveling. Always bring the diffuser. I had a small diffuser that was actually given to me by my daughter when we were just starting to get into it. And it was really cool. It plugged into a USB, but it was very small. And I used to travel with it, so I traveled for business, and I would bring it to my hotel rooms. Now that I've gotten a bit more into oils, I finally had to get the orb. That thing fits perfectly into my suitcase, plugs into my laptop, which is always with me, and then I use my smaller ones in the car, on the boat, or something like that, at rooms that I want to freshen that are just small. But yeah, the orb is the perfect size for me for travel. It's a combination of both of them, citric acid and the baking soda, and from what I'm reading about it, the witch hazel as well. If you put too much water, I've done this, in that mixture, your bath bombs will actually explode before they harden. Yep, orb is in the car. I'm with you, lady. Okay, so we're starting to get the right texture. For those of you up north, like a snowball. For those of you in Florida, like sand on the beach when it's wet. Okay, so we're going to leave that there, and I will be right back. So here's another idea for you as well. So tonight I'm going to use lavender, but say you were going to make this, or especially these, right? You're going to pack these. No use adding the oil. You can add the oil after you've packed them. So if you wanted to have different scents in this specifically, you could do that. But for tonight, we're going to use lavender because I made peppermint, my first batch peppermint. And then, so I'm going to make the lavender to go with them because I have people who like both the lavender and the peppermint. And depending on what kind of mood I'm in, but you could use stress away. You could use any oil that makes you feel good. Joy, another one of my favorite oils. So, okay, time to take a sip of the wine. Oh, Jessica, you have your dewdrop with you. Nice. I had a friend of mine ask me this a couple of weeks ago, before I was going on a trip actually. Can you bring the oils on a plane? I've never had a problem. They're under the, 3 ounce. I put them in the plastic bag. Sometimes they're in my luggage, sometimes they're in my carry-on. I've never had an issue carrying them on the plane. Probably wouldn't try to take too many of these because you really don't know, and because they're not labeled, yeah, TSA might have a problem with them. Okay, so the number of drops of oil, and I'll tell you a funny story. The first time I made these, I made peppermint for this batch, and I used 40 drops of oil. I read online, I looked at many different recipes, and I used 40 drops of oil. They came out great, and they smell wonderful. But because they're peppermint, I would say they're a little bit too strong. So if I was using like lavender, for instance, you could put 30 drops easily, because it's a light oil. But if I'm using peppermint to make this size again, I'm going to drop about 25 to 30 drops. So tonight we're going to use lavender. And find my open bottle first, and we are going to put 30 drops. Okay. It smells wonderful. We're going to mix that up, and you can see it's starting to harden. It doesn't set up like soap where if it hardens, it becomes bad. But because we've gotten the texture that we wanted, it's ready to start to be put into a mold. So we're going to mix it. You can see that. Yes, Luann, lavender, my favorite. It's one of my favorites. When I first started with oils, it was my favorite. But as I've discovered scents like joy and hope and forgiveness, stress away, it's right up there though. Because it's so versatile, right? You can use it for anything. You have a cut, you have a little dry skin, you want to sleep good at the bottom of the feet. It's just a very versatile oil. And in most minds, in mine definitely, along with the wine, is it triggers relaxation. So, good for bath. Okay, ladies, I think we are ready. So, see how it's holding? I have Snowball. Hopefully you'll be able to see this part. Bear with me. Start to tuck them in. To the brownie mold. And what I do is, because they do have to be hard, right? So if you put them in there lightly, there's going to be a lot of air. So for me, what I've done, we won't go through the whole mold, but you fill the mold, I don't think you can see that, and then I go around. Wow, this smells good. And once they're in there, once they're to the eye they appear full, then I go around and I put a bit more on the top and I press them in there hard. If you leave too much air, from my experience, if you leave too much air and they're not solidly packed, then they tend to like to fall apart. The harder the better, right? Yep, I could go somewhere with that, but I think my son-in-law is actually online. And that he is. Oh, Thieves is a household favorite here as well. Absolutely. Diffuse it. Have you tried it with bath bombs? Making bath bombs with it? I mean, it would smell fantastic. It would smell like Christmas. Hi, Brenton. Ladies, say hi to Brenton. Brenton is my son-in-law. I'm wondering if my daughter somehow talked him into... Okay. Looking a little messy. But there you go. There's bath bombs. Yeah, I think we should try that. Oh, you're filling in for Terry? You're such a good hubby. So when she comes home, just let her know you want her to make you bath bombs so you can relax. She needs to pour you a glass of wine, make you some bath bombs. Now we're making the bigger one. And again, I think these are, I know these are going to be much easier to ship because I have a tough time shipping the round ones. Okay, there you go. And see, that is hard. Of course, it has to dry in there, but see the size of it? Perfect size to just drop in a bath. And the ones I got, these weren't expensive. I have to go back and take a look at them, but they come with a little top. So they snap in. Perfect for mailing Happy Mail to your downline or gifts or, you know, for people that buy them on Etsy. So there's the bath bomb. All right, give me 1 second. Let me get this all off of my hands. This is how I cook too, so you can imagine what happens when I cook. I don't know the answer to that question. I can post it out there to our Drop in Knowledge site, or if anybody online happens to know the answer, can we incorporate Epsom salt with the bath bomb? I wouldn't, will they hold? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I will find out for you. Absolutely, it's a good idea. Okay, give me a second to get this cleaned up, or at least quasi cleaned up. Any questions on bath bombs? I know I have to send one to Jessica. She'd like one. Okay. So what I do once these are done is I would leave them till the next day, so 24 hours, and they harden. You saw just this one just from sitting in it for that short period of time. So this is what they look like. This is what they come out the next day, and you can hear, you know, they're good and solid. So they're not the type that fall apart. They fizz up nicely. These are peppermint. They smell fantastic. Okay. So everybody's hung in. Let's everybody take a sip of our favorite cocktail. you.